Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and checking out the video. Always very grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to sort of give you an early season primer on fishing glide baits. I'm sort of going to talk about when the bass first start hitting the glide bait, some of the areas you need to look for as far as to fish it in, how you want to fish it, because it is absolutely the best way or the best odds that you have of catching a big one. Big glide baits in the pre-spawn time of the year are a real high percentage way to catch some really good fish. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also guys, a quick invitation out there. Anybody interested in supporting the channel by our Patreon page, you can do that by just going to the links in the description or becoming a channel member. Channel members get extra videos every week that aren't seen by the public and some access to my personal email address. So if you want to be a part of that, just check out the links in the description, and you can join a member on my YouTube homepage. Click the join button for more information on that. So appreciate it. Okay guys, we'll talk a little bit about these glide baits here. Glide baits, man, they have sort of taken over the bass fishing world over the last couple of years. The thing about a glide bait, the reason why it's sort of like hanging on as like one of the most favorite lures for people to fish, is there's such a wide variety of glide baits, different sizes and profiles. This is the Megabass, my favorite one, the Megabass iSlide 187 here. Thing looks just like a fish, but there's a lot of different ones out there, different color patterns, resembling different type of bait fishes, but ultimately they are oversized lures that are designed to catch big fish. So I want to talk a little bit about, first of all, the conditions that you have to have as far as when they first start working in the springtime of the year, because it's all about the right condition. If you don't have the right conditions, you can throw these things all day long and never get a bite on them. So first of all, let's talk about the time during the pre-spawn. The time that you need to think about throwing a big glide bait is when that water temperature reaches the mid-50s. This is going to be the heart of the pre-spawn. There's going to be a lot of quality fish starting to move up shallow. Those bigger fish are going to be aggressive, and this is a really good time to fish it. In correlation with that water temperature, you got to have the right sky conditions. You got to have the right water visibility. Now there is a range on the water visibility as far as the effectiveness of it, and I usually put that range in anywhere between say 3 to 8 foot visibility. For the lower end visibility, you're going to have the bigger baits like this Magdraft 262 T is going to be better, and obviously in the clear water situation, downsizing to smaller jerk baits or smaller glide baits probably going to get you more bites. Those are the best conditions as far as water visibility. You've also got to have the right type of weather conditions. One of the things you'll find out about a glide bait and a big glide bait in the pre-spawn is you got to have some wind. I prefer something like a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind, usually out of the south, usually a pretty warm day with some type of overcast. I like at least 75% cloud coverage. Maybe there's some sun peeking out once in a while, but ideally I prefer a cloudy day. Cloudy, windy, warm day with wind direction out of the south, water temperatures in the mid-50s. That's going to be perfect scenario for that. Now, how you want to work a glide bait, there's several different ways to do it. You can just reel these things in and they naturally swim like that, which is okay. You can catch some fish with that, but I've found there's two other ways that will generate more strikes than just reeling it in with this S motion. First of all, one of my favorite ways is to fish it like a jerk bait. So what I do out there is I'll throw the glide bait out there and I'll jerk it, just like I would a jerk bait, and it causes the bait to dart harder like this, and it darts side to side, and you can stop it. And you can control the length of the jerk. So one time you might have a hard jerk, and the next time a softer jerk, and it puts it to the side, and you can go back and forth however you want to do it. But that's how I fish it most all the time. If I'm in a situation where the water is a little bit on the clear side and it's a little bit, you don't quite have as much wind as you need, you got to speed it up. And that's when I will basically reel it and jerk it at the same time, and sort of just make it go like this through the water. Reel it, almost burn it pretty fast. So it's sort of coming through the water just like that. That's another good way to catch them, especially when that water temperatures are closer to 60 degrees. But by far my favorite way to work it is just like a slow jerk bait. That's how you're going to catch more fish than anything. Also, I like to keep the bait in sight. You're not going to be able to keep the bait in sight all the time because, the wind and the cloud cover is maybe going to take that out of there. But if I have my rudders, I like to keep it high enough in the water column where I can actually see the bait, because I feel that the higher that glide bait is up in the water column, the more they are to hit it and not just follow it. From my own experience in fishing big glide baits, the farther I let the bait go down in the water column, that gives the fish a better chance to look at it. And I get a lot of bass that will follow that jerk bait if they can really see it good. But if you keep it up top, close to the surface, maybe a foot underneath the surface, they don't quite have as good a look on it. And a lot of times they'll come up hard on it and they'll hit it, where they wouldn't hit it if it was down just a little bit like that. Another thing, just tackle, guys, you got to have the right tackle on it. It all has to do with the size of the lure. Anything up to about 2 ounces or so, I throw in my flipping stick, and then anything over 2 ounces, like for example, this 262T Megabass, this thing probably weighs 5 or 6 ounces. You have to throw it on a heavy action 8-foot rod, and I use that Megabass Leviathan. And also, guys, I'll link all this stuff in my Tackle Warehouse description. I'll link all the glide baits and the rods that I use. If you guys are interested in picking up, you can use that Tackle Warehouse link of mine in there. But anyway, guys, give it a try. It's not a bait you're going to get a ton of bites on. Not that I haven't got I've had days on the 187 here, which is a smaller one. I've had 10 fish days on it, which I consider a 10 fish day on a glide bait to be exceptional. Most of the time when I'm fishing a glide bait, I'm looking, if I get 5 bites in a day, that's a good day. Because a lot of times what you'll have is if you actually have 5 bass that actually bite the lure that you catch, you probably have like 15 bass that are actually looking behind it. And glide baits are notorious for big fish tracking that lure and not biting it. And that's why people fish it so much, because I've had some days out there where I've had some tanks following the thing and getting that far behind it and not hit it. And when you see those big fish and how they react to it, it gets their attention. You keep thinking, okay, one of them is going to hit it, or what can I do to generate that fish to attack that lure? A lot of times they just won't. I've had tournaments, guys, where I've had 15 or 20 big fish, like 5 to 8 pounders that are this far away from it, but they won't hit it for anything, and you wind up not catching anything for the day. There was a tournament, we had a Bassmaster Invitational down at Lake Hartwell a few years ago, and that same thing happened to me in practice. I got sucked into a glide bait by seeing all these big fish, these big spotted bass, 4 and 5 pound spotted bass that would follow this glide bait and get super close to it. And I'd catch them 1 or 2 once in a while, but I had so many big ones follow it that I wound up throwing it the whole tournament and just sucked in the tournament. I couldn't put it down. I kept thinking, if I can just get 5 of these to bite the thing, I'm gonna win the tournament. So it's sort of one of that type of deal when you're fishing a glide bait. That's just sort of the reality of it. So anyway, guys, like I said, if you want to get a few, put the Tackle Warehouse link in the description. Some of my favorite ones out there, and hope it helps out. We'll talk later.